And we're live, Coach Bryant. What's up, everybody? How is everybody doing? Happy Wednesday. Happy dead period. Out of the 2 week dead period. Dead period. Why they call it dead period, Coach Bryant?
I mean, leave people alone. Leave them alone.
What's up, everybody? My name is Coach Terry Bryant, and welcome to Hits and Heels. Tonight is the start of dead period. We are sports people. We are football coaches and baseball coaches and track coaches and all of that good stuff. And I coach track and he coaches baseball, and then we both coach football together. He made me a football coach. My co-host Danny Wright helped me to create Hits and Heels, and because we're female football coaches and we kind of had a voice and we're just talking about some things related to football, and I absolutely love football. So much so that I actually coach a women's tackle football team, and now am kind of spearheading trying to get girls flag. That's kind of what I'm kind of doing. But thank you anyway. Thank you for coming to our show today.
Alrighty. So you're not gonna do your famous. What's next, Coach Bryant?
What's next, Coach Bryant?
Okay.
Anyway, we got the draft going on right now.
NBA draft is
yeah.
going on. You guys have taken didn't really look at it to see who went first and second or third. We just actually clicked it on. You just reminded me before we came up here that the NBA draft is on. So congratulations to all those young men who's getting an opportunity to change lives, their family's life.
I think the reason why I didn't tune in, honestly, Coach Bryant, is because I think this is the first time that I haven't heard about any Kentucky players being in the top 25. Do we have any? But normally it's like, why? That's all that's being talked about, and I haven't heard. Yes, and I haven't heard anything. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about any Kentucky players going, because normally they're like top 5 or they're usually someplace significant.
I think the player Butler will be drafted, but I don't know if he's a first round draft pick or a second or third.
Yeah.
I mean, Butler's going to get a chance to play in the NBA, the point guard.
Okay.
Last year, did very well in the SEC. So I just know a few SEC players have went in the top. A couple of Duke's kids have went in the top.
Yeah, a kid from Texas just went through.
He just went through. So it's actually pretty good.
Your daughter is calling.
All right. So I guess the first topic I wanted to talk about is the settlement of NIL, the $20 million.
That's huge.
And everybody's talking about, what do you do with it? It ain't $20 million for one sports program. It's $20 million
for the school.
Now, here's what I said, and people can chime in and tell me if I'm on board or not. Okay. Each school is going to be individual. Each school. And here's where the more the money's going to go. More the money's going to go based on the money coming back to your university. Meaning, if you look at Kentucky, and I take Kentucky in consideration. Okay, which sport, meaning the 3 major sports, nothing against anybody, but the 3 major sports, which of the 3 major sports has a chance, feel like they have a chance to win a national title or a championship?
The basketball.
And so there's 3, I have 3 sons. I'm going to invest a little bit more money and time into this son, which is basketball. Yeah, because the university baseball did. I thought baseball did very well this year. When I got some players last year, they got a lot of players. That was very prominent. The football program got some new players, lost some players, but that schedule is brutal, and that makes a big difference. I don't care what anybody say. Let Ohio State play Kentucky's schedule.
Yeah.
And it's not about them playing Kentucky's schedule. I go back to the main subject, Coach Bryant, Terry, is you get beat up and you get sore. So the 20 million, a majority of that is going to go to the basketball players to get basketball this, because what
and to continue getting the recruits and the PM to pay these recruits.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. And oh my gosh, I cannot think of the hockey, because they get 20 million, and where they're at, it's on the top of my head. I cannot. It will pop in my head. Okay, majority of their money is going to go to hockey, because they had a better chance of winning a national title in hockey
than in.
And I want to say it's an average school. Average school. I mean, that can compete with the Big Ten in hockey.
Oh,
so majority of their money is going to go to hockey, because if you win, people show up and they buy shirts and they buy hats, they buy popcorn, they park, and money is coming in to reimburse that 20, whatever you give them, 7 million, 8 million to get those hockey players. And it escapes my mind of the team, but they were talking about that today on the radio, that this school will put more money into their hockey program
than other sports.
Right.
And so I'm pretty sure there's lots of schools that are probably going to do that, where they're going to pick and choose. I just hate that a lot of the non-revenue sports like track and field and I don't know. Of course, a lot of the women's sports won't be able to capitalize on those because of the fact that they're non-revenue sports.
Well, and Coach,
and I get it.
No, Coach, you're right.
I mean, get
it. That's just. I mean, it's sort of like we want to live in the 70s and the 80s and the 2025. We can't. It's about how much revenue can that sport bring. It has nothing to do with gender. Because if that was the case, they need to put more money, get the money in the UK's girls gymnastics, who just dominates every year.
And so does volleyball.
And volleyball. I mean, that's a big deal.
I mean, they want the UK girls women's volleyball has won more championships than any of the men's sports.
Oh, okay, baby.
Don't let me get started on
it.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. But what I'm getting at is
they're winning, and then they're still not getting the revenue.
Okay, but what I'm getting at is, but the revenue is based on, is Lexus going to advertise when they're on TV? Is Toyota going to advertise? Because it's about money. We live in a world of money. Everything is driven by, what do you bring to the table, money wise. So I mean, your opinion on that 20 million, Coach?
I just don't. I'm glad that the players are able to get paid. I wanted more regulation about that. I hope that when they do divvy it up, that it's not equally. It can't be equally. There are other players that stand out above other players, and I feel like it should be tiered. So if you have a player that's been there 2 or 3 years, it should get, it shouldn't get the equal amount of a incoming freshman. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see. I would reward those players that, especially if they've been faithful and loyal and haven't been jumping in and out of the portal. Those type of players should get the most money.
Yeah. Well, it had to get fixed. It's just too much. I mean, the Texas quarterback who's now at the U, and he decided not to go in the draft because he's gonna make more money going to the college. U. Yeah. And people were criticizing that.
Texas. I thought that was Georgia's went to you. Was it Georgia's quarterback went to you?
Oh, I thought it was Texas quarterback. Okay, I could be wrong. But the point is that the young man went to the U.
Somebody went to the U.
Somebody went to the U.
Right.
And with that said, that right there is huge, because he decided, I can go get paid here. Am I going to get paid in the NFL? I'll make this amount. I can stay in college. And that's why you had to do something about that. When you're not trying to go to the big show, which every young man,
that's their dream.
That's their dream, is to play in the big show. But you rather stay in college, then you had to put something on it. You got to put some type of cap. It's going to be more like an NFL cap that's on it, and the details are all coming out. But guys, that's what it's going to be like NFL. It's going to be ran like the NFL, but a little different. Just a slight difference in the difference in everything is coming out real soon on that matter. I guess the next subject, if you're done with that one, I don't know.
Yeah, we're on to the next one, Coach.
Well, the next one is, talking about the dead period. What up, go Dad? What up, niece?
What's up, niece?
The dead period. Dead period started midnight last night.
Okay.
Or when 12:01 clicked in on Wednesday, and the wife said, "What is up with what is that?"
What? Who came up with the dead period? So in my understanding, the dead period was because coaches were just doing just too much when it comes to the kids, and the kids needed a break. But there's still a whole lot of kids that's not breaking, because you had a tournament this weekend. So how come there's no dead period? Help me to understand, Coach Bryant.
Okay. I do have a baseball tournament this weekend. And the dead period is based on high school sports, not AAU, not travel baseball. It's not based on that. It is because high school football
is just high school.
Well, think about it. I mean, I'm the assistant coach at Bryan Station High School baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, the football, one of my players is going to play on the football team, so he's over there practicing football. So if you don't put a dead period, he's going to stay practicing football. And then the next thing you know, football truly starts in July.
Right.
So there's no break where the parents can go on a vacation. They can schedule that to do that. Summer baseball is different because once summer baseball is over, they're done with baseball. They're done.
Okay.
So same thing.
Unless they do fall ball or no?
No, this is fall. The season is over. You lift weights and you get bigger and stronger in baseball wise. Same thing as basketball, because basketball is going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't say, wait a second, let these babies, relax, and they probably not going to relax. I mean, they're young. Well, I didn't relax when I was young. I'm balling. I'm still out there hooping.
To me, this is when you get it in the most. Like first week, this is when you should get it in the most, because now you can, you got 2 weeks to go hard this week in your off season before you get ready to start in the summertime or whatever like that. We got our first guest that's coming on. We'll get ready to bring him on in a second. And so that's, to me, go hard these 2 weeks. Now you can lift a little bit heavier. The soreness can kind of wear off a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, the next week, now you're kind of chilling out. The soreness is wearing off next week.
Yeah.
And now, you can get ready for your, what do y'all call it? The summer workouts?
Summer workouts. Yeah. Summer workouts.
Summer workout?
Yeah. I mean, but I like the dead period. I like the time that the kids can actually, and the parents can actually sketch, because it's every date every year. So you can plan your vacation.
That part, I think that's probably one of the most important parts I want to talk with the coaches about today.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, we're going to bring in our first guest, Coach Hawks.
Oh, we see you.
I see you. I don't see you. I see you down there, but I don't see you up here.
Coach, can you hear us? You look like There
we go. Your dog wants to start.
No. That ain't my dog. That's your dog. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
What's up, Coach Hawks? How are you? Thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
I'm good.
All right, so thank you for letting us interrupt your, we were just talking about dead period.
Well, if you don't know, this is Coach Hawks, who's happened to be the head football coach and the head track coach at Tate Street High School. He's from the GA, where it's hot like crazy. Yeah. This feels like the GA here in Kentucky right now.
Yeah.
So Coach, thanks again for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it, man. I'm out here. I got my dog. He out here enjoying this little beautiful weather. So
right.
He outside.
All right. So I guess I will ask you the first question. So how did after the dead period you get started? So how has been your workouts prior to this day today, the 25th?
Um, Prior to like especially this week, we ain't did anything. We ended up on Thursday. Our numbers are up, which is a beautiful thing, right? You know, you want to see numbers being good in June. Um, we call them workouts, but at the end of the day, you still got your eyes on what you need. You going on. And so it was beautiful, man. I mean, I would say um, kind of going into this week, it's been more maintenance. And so I'm at that school every day. I don't know how to take a break. So my mama is always fussing at me about taking a break. So I'll take one next week. Like my goal is to take this week and kind of finish out some stuff. But it's been great. The kids have been coming every day. They've been showing up on time. They've been leaving later than they come in. So you can't complain about that.
All right.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's
Yep.
all about. So how do you prepare, like when you get your first incoming freshman in, do you prepare your parents that listen, this is the only time y'all need to be taking a vacation?
Yeah, this been it's been better. Like to be honest with you, the parents um, from the first year to now going into year four, it's been different. You know, the parents are coming in with more of an expectation, like my kids got to be there, and they've been taking their breaks around our workouts, and so like that's been different. You know, a lot of parents they a lot of the kids that were taking breaks in my first couple of years, no offense to them, but a lot of parents, their kids didn't continue to play football the next years and the next years because the expectation was, if you're not around, it's kind of hard to really, get on the ground running when we get into July. Like we got to go with what we know. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And some people think that that's like, well, it's favoritism. It's not. Like in July, as soon as we get back, we in competition mode, man. It's time to go, and the only thing you know about is the people that's been around, and the ones that ain't been around is, you got to catch up. You know what I mean? And sometimes you don't have a big window to get that done.
Well, I'm gonna lead into this based on your thing, competition, and I'm not. I don't like to, and you and I know each other very well, so I'm not looking to put anyone in front of the team, but expectations that makes the team go. And who is you guys are the expectations that you expect in them to lead your team this coming year?
Yeah,
Number, and if you don't mind, first and last name and number, please.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you got to start with the quarterback, right? Darnell was our quarterback. Darnell Burnside, he was our quarterback. Starting quarterback. He took over for Andrew Witherington, who came in and did a fabulous job.
Yeah.
Darnell, in his own right, as a senior, upcoming senior, he came in as a junior, and really, really, he did a great job. He led the guys, but it's going to be a high expectation this year because you have a lot more firepower. You got a lot of guys that are prepared to have big seasons, and we got a big running back, um, B.J. Evans. He's another kid that's a running back,
He's
rush for 1,800
now.
yards.
I say this, and you know me very well. I'm a defensive guy. Now he's special. Uh, that kid in the backfield is special, and that's going to make it. Am I correct? It's going to make it
Oh
kind
yeah,
of a little bit easier on your quarterback, Mr.
oh yeah,
Burnside.
oh yeah. I think him, and I think a surprise to a lot of people this year will be the fact that we have those twins, JT and Luke Cooper. Um,
Yes, I forget about that.
yeah, those two kids have went to camps this summer and ran 4.5 lows, and JT measured out at 6'4", 195, and ran a
Okay.
4.52 at a camp. I mean, that's awesome.
And
Knowing that
what
you got a
position is
kid
he
that,
playing?
huh?
What position is he playing?
He's a wide receiver. Yeah, so
Wide
like
receiver.
those. Yeah, I mean, when you got those kind of that size and those kind of weapons to play with, man. I mean, I think at the end of the day, as a quarterback, you'd be happy about the speed that you have, and then we got some other kids that can make some big splashes too. But definitely on the offense side of the ball, Darnell and BJ. But then as you get to the defense side of the ball, you got Sean Taylor, who I think is probably one of the best. I say underrated, but he played ball at Leestown. He's kind of been a starter for us for the last 2 years, sophomore and freshman year. Um, but Sean Taylor is another kid I'm gonna expect to have a big year. We have so many kids that are doing a lot of great things. L Warren, I call him L because You know, his first name is hard to say. Lazier. So I call him.
Coach Bryant always got somebody a nickname
I'm
for
gonna get you a
somebody.
nickname if I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, man. We got some guys that hard. I mean, they're buying into that mentality that I speak about, and that's what you want. That's what you look for, and I'm so thankful because they they know we come back and we going right into competition, and so they said, Coach, I ain't gonna let you down. So I mean, that's all you look forward to.
Wow.
I love it. So what's that O line gonna look like?
O line, D line, right? So Miles Hayward, I'm gonna put the pressure on him. So
Okay.
Miles Hayward was one of my best track throwers. He played second and third at the indoor and state meet for outdoor and shot put and then disc. And so Miles Hayward is a big kid. You know, he's 6'4", a big mobile guy. But the O-line, they have a lot of pressure because they got a big back in the backfield.
Absolutely.
That can make some things happen. And we have a few other guys that can make some things happen too. But I definitely think that between Miles Hayward and Adrian Dixon and Kamarian Harris, Kamarian will be a junior. He's maybe 6'5", another 290, maybe 300-pound kid. You're going to expect him to be able to move some people around this year. And these are all young guys. Miles will be a senior, and Adrian will be a senior, but the other 2 or 3 starters, they're going to be juniors and sophomores. I expect them boys to be ready to play this year. You know what I mean?
I'm sitting there just smiling because you and I talk a lot, and with all these Corvettes, man, and hey, Coach, hey, they want the ball. So are you ready for that?
And that's all I've been waiting on is my guys to want that ball, and I want them to get mad at me for not getting it. I do. I love that. That's exciting to me. I want kids to want that opportunity, but at the end of the day, they got to understand that we want to win ball games too. So we got to be smart in our approach, and I think Darnell's done a great job. And we have some other guys. Our backup quarterback Ace Davis, he's gotten better. I mean, you got a lot of kids that's continuing to understand like the mission isn't about just the team individually. If I don't get better, it don't make our team better. So like that approach has helped a lot of our kids get better because they recognize whether I'm a freshman or a senior, I got to be prepared to play. Okay. And I'll play a freshman tomorrow.
I played as a freshman, so don't play with us.
Yeah, I'll play
as a freshman. If you a dog and you're a freshman, you can earn it. You can earn it. So my question, Coach, is you made a lot of coaching changes.
Yep.
Now, was that intentional or was that just attrition that people moved in? Because you got some dogs on your coaching staff.
Okay, I'm going to let him name his coaching staff, but he stole our guy. He stole Black.
Yeah, Black's our boy.
He went into Black, Coach Black is his OC. And
that's nephew.
And nephew was in there just teaching, and I hear that he was bringing flowers, cupcakes, pancakes. No, I'm kidding on that part. But talk about your coaching staff this year. It's the who, right?
Yeah,
you picked up some good.
Yeah, it's I think it was important. Each year I've been just trying to find a good match of guys that can I think about myself and I think about the kind of men that can match my mentality and be better than me. And each year, it's no offense to no coaches that's not currently coaching with me because those guys are great people. You know what I'm saying? But the guys that I've had to replace and put in a position, I demand a lot. I do, man. And I want us to be there for our kids. And a lot of times life circumstances doesn't allow that. But there's guys that's like, hey, man, knocking on that door. I want that gift. And I think bringing on Mike Morton to be alongside of Brandon Duncan. I think that's
my man. We love him.
Hey, both of them are my boys.
Yes.
Both of them. One of my coached. Both of my coached.
You coached both of them.
I coached both of them. And with that said, you got to him before I got to him because we had our OC at Crawford. Got a promotion and job, so he moved back to Cincinnati because he's from Natty. Davenport moved back to Cincinnati, and I was calling Morton. And next thing I know, I look on the Facebook, and there is
You done stolen.
they done stole. I say that's two of them. Oh,
Yeah,
nah.
now Mike is a big time head coach in the making as far as the high school.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. He did a great, fantastic
Yeah,
job at
and
the
he
station.
did a great. We had our coaches clinic this year that we do
I
every.
hate I missed it.
No, it's okay. Like we'll continue to do it, and but he did a great job, had a great presentation, and we'll continue to do that every year. That's a lot of people think it's just for Creek. I'm like, no, that's for everybody, man.
Everybody. Mm-hmm.
I invite all these outside coaches because I'm trying to
Right.
bring more people outside in to
Right.
recognize that we got to feed off each other to get better, right?
Right.
But Mike Morton is a coach that's done a great job since he's been there. He's gonna head up those special teams, and he's gonna be right alongside Brandon Duncan as a defensive assistant at the linebackers, and then of course Travar Lindley, who played
Really?
he played NFL ball, but
Yes.
also just his 4 years of experience at UK. That makes a
Mm-hmm.
difference. DeAndre Square will be with the defensive side of the ball as my freshman D coordinator, and man, I can go on and on and on. Jake Odom, who
Johnson.
man, what we have
Oh.
Johnson, who's gonna head up them quarterbacks. I
Hey,
mean,
Hey, that's our boy.
hey, Coach. Bo is one of the few offensive people I actually talked to when I coached him at Bryan Station.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's
and
smart,
again,
man.
we're going back and don't forget any coaches. I apologize for cutting you off, but I mean that makes a difference, and that makes it where you don't have to look over your shoulder.
That's right.
I mean, because they know what they're doing, and
the micromanage.
and people don't understand that when
Yep.
you're a head coach, you got to get assistant coaches that believes in your theory, and just like if you're not there, you are there.
Yep.
And I think you got that. I really mean that, and I'm gonna use your words. No disrespect to the former coaches at Tate's Creek. I'm not disrespecting my boys because I know them all. But this right here is special. This is special.
I love the coaching staff.
Yeah, this is I told the guys, because normally as you get ready to end the last day or two of before dead period, your numbers kind of drop a little bit based off kids leaving, parents and all.
Mm-hmm.
Our numbers actually got higher as the kids were, as the days got less, the kids actually showed up a lot more. And I honestly, I put that on the program. I think the program has kind of provided that safe space for those kids to want to be there during that time. And honestly, I'm excited. The coaches are part of the reason why those kids want to show up. And this has been one of the best 3 weeks that I've been a part of. I actually got to coach football for the last 3 weeks. Like I've been able to be in
Right.
and actually learn what's going on for football. And that's been a lot to me because I haven't been able to coach football for the past 4 years. And I'm glad that I finally get to be in those meetings and be a part of the process. So that's a huge deal. That's a testament to that coaching staff.
Absolutely. That's huge. That's huge. Well, we're proud of you. We're looking forward to the season. And I don't know. Is there anything you want to talk about before we let you go?
Well, we're about to let him go, but and again, we appreciate you coming on, Coach. We really mean that. But my biggest thing is you've been. I'm gonna use the Houston Oilers term back in the day against Pittsburgh. You've been hitting that door. You've been pushing the door. The door's pushing. Is this the year you kick the door in? Is this the year you kick it in? I'm putting you on the spot, Coach. I got to do it. She pays me to do it.
I know it. I feel like this. We have a lot of kids that can make a lot of plays, both offensively and defensively. And I feel like we're going to be a bigger team up front than we've had in the past. And I think that's going to truly pay dividends when it matters. I think our athletes can match up with a lot of teams. And at the end of the day, when we go out there and play ball, I really feel like whatever door's in front of us, we can knock down. It comes down to us. And I think our mentality and the kids that we got on this team this year, I think our youth is special. But I definitely think these group of seniors we have, they're prepared to knock them doors down. So I'm excited about what the season can hold for us.
Well, like I said, we can't wait for the season to see how.
Coach, thank you for coming on. I mean that, what I'm saying? That I wrecked your office today. I just want you to know. I went into your office and moved stuff around.
I hope you didn't.
I didn't. All right. This is Coach Hawks, the head football coach of Tates Creek High School.
Coach, thank you for being on.
Appreciate you, Deuce.
All right, now y'all take care.
You
All
too.
right.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
summer.
Coach.
All right, now see you.
Wow.
No, that was good. That was good.
Tates Creek head coach.
Yeah.
And I'm looking down at the screen. I'm looking down and
Yeah,
we have
you
never.
know I got your boy on.
Okay, let me clarify this. We have never broke bread. We have never hung out. But what do I talk about? And be honest, what do I talk about in this house, Coach Johnson? All the time.
But he and I have had a couple of conversations as well, offline too, well, because
he's a class act.
First class. We're going to bring him on. Before we bring him on, I want to acknowledge our sister. Yvonne says that Malcolm Page always says to tell you hi. You know, that's Lyndon's grandfather.
Yes.
He's actually came to our game. And Shay, we love Shay. She's one of the best parents that we have on our team.
Yes, she is.
And then our niece said, "How do you stand the heat?" I know you're used to it, but no, we're not used to it. He does not like the heat.
I don't like heat.
And
I want to live in the East Coast.
I want to live in the South, but he's like, "There's no way we're gonna live in the South because it's too hot."
It's too hot.
Yeah, but thank you both for being on. We appreciate your support.
Love you.
But right now we're gonna bring in our next coach.
My man, what's up?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what I was saying is, and I mean that. I'm gonna tell you. I remember the first time that I truly met you and talked to you is when Crawford came over to Dunbar, and you went out of your way, and not because you had to, you know. And I looked at my wife and I said, "That's first class." And you have no idea. People that's around me, Coach, don't know. You have no idea how much I'm in your corner for your program to achieve, for your program to get to the level and stay there, not up and down, but get to the level where you want it. And again, I'm so happy you came on, Coach. I can honestly say I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm a fan of you too as well. And I have a story about your son Ty as well that and this kind of really
I'm sorry, Coach. This is the head football coach at Paul Lawrence Dunbar, which I coached there for many, many years.
You started the program at Dunbar.
We started there, and just want to let you know that this is the head coach at Paul Lawrence Dunbar. Go ahead, Coach.
So we were playing Douglas, your son's senior year, and we were playing at you guys. And, we were actually pretty competitive. It was probably the best defense I've ever seen in high school football that Douglas had. But we were hanging in there, and it was about the second quarter, and one of the Douglas players hit our player out of bounds or something, and Ty came over there and took control of the whole situation. That's not the way we do it. And he was yelling at everybody on the team, not our team, but theirs, talking about discipline, and that's not the way we do things and all that kind of thing. And after the game, I remember going up to him and just saying, "Hey man, that's a captain right there. That's something special that you don't see a lot, taking control of the team and just kind of, having really, really good things to say out there on the field to the other teammates." And they all listened. Nobody talked back. Nobody said anything. It was like, "Yes, sir," and let's go play. So, things got much better for them, unfortunately, after that. But just a great thing.
Well, thank you, Coach. Thank you. We as parents appreciate that, and I'm gonna go ahead and follow in on what that statement is. Who is your guy this year? Is that type of guy that you're looking for, that leadership on and off the field at Dunbar High School?
So we've got a few. Actually, we've got some really, really good seniors. We have a small senior class, probably around 12 or 13 kids. But those kids have really just been dedicated from day one. And I have Connor Norseworthy. Connor Norseworthy is a excellent wide receiver and defensive back for us, and just really leads by example. Will Amstutz, who's a big defensive end for us as well. Caleb Monroe, who was led us in tackles last year as a linebacker, or one of our linebackers. We have Jacob Konate. Jacob was first team All-City corner. So we've got some guys, but I tell you, the last 2 years have been interesting for me. We had, besides my first year, hadn't had a losing season. We were, I believe, 6 straight winning seasons, which was something Dunbar hadn't done since the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And then we had a pretty good senior class 2 years ago, and a really good football team. And we went 3-7, I think, or something like that. We just were devastated with injuries.
A lot of close games.
We had a lot of close games, and just devastated with injuries. Every injury we had was just a season-ending, catastrophic senior injury. Second game of the season, we're in there with our, one of our team captains. He starts at guard and defensive end. Great leader on our team. And just goes in for a tackle and kind of gets a nerve damage in his neck, and it was partially paralyzed for about a week, and then couldn't play football anymore. And then, of course, we had to substitute him, a senior captain, two-way starter, with a freshman who had never had a down of varsity experience. And it was just one thing after another that year was just a tough physical year for us. And then last year we had a ton of close games. We lost 5 games in the last 2 minutes. But I also started 7 sophomores and 2 freshmen last year. So we have pretty much everybody coming back. I'm excited about our junior class is loaded with talent. And also I have about 30 of those guys. And so, I have 30 juniors. I've got a great sophomore class that I'll have a few of those kids start. And I'm really excited about this freshman class coming in. This freshman class has a lot of potential. So the pieces are falling into place. It takes, when you inherit a school that I was their 10th coach in 20 years.
Yeah.
And
let people understand this. I coached at Dunbar in the 90s to 2001. It was one coach. After Mike Mann left and our staff left, there was a lot of coaching changes.
Yeah.
A lot of different philosophies. So that's why when he says it was that many, it was a short period of time, a lot of coaches.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It wasn't from 90 to 2025, that many coaches. It was a lot in the middle, and so I just want to clarify that so everybody understand what you're meaning by it.
And so, they hadn't had a winning season when I got there. They were coming off 0-10, and they hadn't had a winning season since, I believe, like 2006. 2006 was the last time.
Yes.
So it had been like almost 12, 13 years before they had won more than 5 games. I think Paul Raines went 6-6 one year. So when you inherit a situation like that, you've got a lot of culture to build, because it's one thing if you take over for a coach that's been there for 14 years, 13 years, and, you have some things in place that you carry on, some traditions, some things that you can build off of. But when you come in from 9 coaches before you, it just, there's nothing.
Nobody had any success.
Yeah, and nobody had any success, and you're basically building everything from the ground up. And so that's why I think the 2020 run, when we made it to the semifinals and got beat by Mail, it was a phenomenal feat by our coaching staff and by our player buy-in and things like that. That was something else. I mean, that I still reflect on the work those kids put in to build something special and have Dunbar relevant. And, we hope to bounce back this year and make another 3 or 4 year run where we're going to be pretty good. I have a great coaching staff, probably the best coaching staff I've ever had as a head coach. Lots of experience.
Who's your offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator?
So my offensive coordinator, his name is Randy Wood, and Randy Wood has been a head football coach at 2 different schools. He was my offensive coordinator back when I was the head coach at West Jessamine back in 2001. Okay. And then he went to Morgan County, and really I'm surprised they don't have a statue of him up somewhere in Morgan County, because he took them deep in the playoffs, and they had great football teams up there. But he's a great football coach and gets every ounce out of every kid he ever coaches. Then he went to West Jessamine.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, who hadn't basically, they were coming off of 0 a bunch about 3 years in a row. I don't know if they won a game in 3 years, and came in there and won. He won 10 games, won their first playoff game ever. Yes. And then got beat by Bull County. I think they got beat 3 times that year, twice by Bull, 1 by Catholic. So, not a bad run there. And then he was there for 2 years. And then just, we've been friends, and I've tried to get him to Dunbar consistently. It's just tough to get jobs, in Dunbar. I mean, nobody leaves once they get there. It's a great school and great environment, and people don't leave unless they retire. And so last year he was working at the STEAM Academy. And then this year I've got him over in the school with me, and he's our offense will look a lot different. I mean, it'll be some of the same stuff we've done, but he's an option guru. Okay. He's, and so we'll look more academy style this year than we ever have, more like Air Force, Navy, Army, a lot of triple option, a lot of some under center option, but also a lot of shotgun.
So you're telling me, as a defensive minded person, you just told me, I'm pure defense. Yeah. You got some boys up front.
Yeah,
that's what you're telling me.
Yeah, I've got some good talent up there. And, but it's interesting because they're not the biggest kids I've ever had. They're actually really, really athletic and tall and strong and not your, they just look good. They're a good looking bunch, and they're smart, and of course, if you know anything about the option, you don't have to dominate people. You in the triple option, a lot of times you're not blocking a couple people. It's more of a read stuff. And Madison Central did a lot of that this year. And if you saw them play at all, it's really, really hard to stop, to get people off the field doing that stuff. But I'm excited about that. And defensively, we're probably the most unique defense in the whole state. If you come, I'd just love to see you come watch us play next year. You'll see some stuff you've never seen before in your entire life, but it's a lot of fun. The kids play, they love it. We bring people from every direction, every play, and we're coming after you, and we give people fits. We had it was the second most efficient defense I've had at Dunbar. Besides the 2020 team, and it didn't matter what they ran, they were just going to be good at whatever. And this bunch was undersized. We'll still be undersized. We're not going to be able to match up with. We don't have any 6'5", 6'6" kids up front or 300 pounders. We're, my nose guard last year was 5'11", 170, but he also couldn't be blocked. He just was had a motor. And so we run a really unique defense. Jordan Lewandowski, he is my defensive coordinator. We got this defense from a coach in Oklahoma who really does a great job with it. And we decided we needed something different and something that, nobody does around here. So when they play us, they've got a week to prepare for a lot of things they've never seen. And that's tough to do in 5 days.
Okay. Well, I love that. I love that because like my defense that I've run, and Coach Lawson, how you doing from Lafayette, is about to come on in a few minutes. And I run a storm defense. And even at Crawford, we blitz a lot. And, my nose guard had a couple of interceptions. My interception. My safeties had many sacks. And I like that, because if you don't, and Mike Mann with God rest his soul, Coach Wayne Scott, when we was at Dunbar back in the day, that's what we ran, because that's how we could compete. Because we were always undersized, like you used that word 3 times in a sentence, and people don't understand that if you're undersized, you can't match up strength.
That's right.
So you got to get creative. A little different. So,
well, a lot of that stuff, and the funny thing is, it reminds me a lot of that storm stuff that you guys ran. I was an assistant at Lafayette in 98, 99 with Don Young. And then I remember, playing the defense, and a lot of what we do is very similar to that storm defense. It's chaos,
And that just puts a compliment on your coaching staff. I have to compliment your coaching staff, because the coaching staff can do it, but they got to get the kids to read the right keys. And so that means you're trusting your coach, your defensive coordinators, your linebackers coach, your DB coach, or whoever, and to teach the babies that. And that's a commend. I commend you on that.
Yeah. And I do, but before I leave, I want to say something. I want to commend the coaches in our district. You said Lawson's coming on. I know Hawks is on before me. Of course, Coach Hawkins coming over from Bryan Station. I know these guys personally. I know them a lot. I talk to them on the phone all the time. It's funny because we're all rivals, but we're very close, and we have a lot of respect for each other. And one of the things that, I think our district has got a bad rap the last, probably 5 or 6 years, because we've been young and down and that sort of thing. And, but I tell you, the job that these guys do with their kids, once the talent catches up with the coaching, you'll see tremendous strides in this district. You're already seeing it. I mean,
you're already seeing it. I agree.
This district is on the rise in terms of being competitive, and it's these coaches that are doing a great job of developing these players. And I have a ton of respect. Our sister district is loaded, right? Douglas, Station, Clark County, Madison Central. And I think in a lot of ways, and the great coaches over there too, and absolutely phenomenal coaches. Coach McPeak is one of my good friends. He does a great job at Douglas. He has built a machine over there.
It helps that he's got a great feeder school too, though.
That's right. And but it takes, you can't just have great kids. You got to have great coaching, and so you can have a bunch of great kids and lose. And so it is a testament that
that's true. Yes.
He wins with those kids too. So not only do they have great coaches, they have great players. And so that is something that I think, as you'll see, is our district, once the players, and I think you're seeing that right now, we got a lot of talent, young talent coming up in this district, that the all of a sudden the coaches will be, wow, hey, what's going on over there in the district, and the coaches are here. They do a great job. Everybody's working hard, doing exactly what they need to do to build programs and build young men. And I think that fruit is right now being developed. And you're going to see that fruit come up here in the next couple of years.
Oh, I love that. And I think we're going to see that once we find out who is getting ready to be the new director of athletics.
Mm-hmm.
I think that person, and getting into that area, I already probably have 2 pages of notes, because I want to sit down with that person, whoever that's going to be. And that's probably one of the biggest things that I want to talk about is, how do we continue to support our coaches? How do we create a cohesive, where it's, because like even in my Facebook group, I created it. It's Lexington versus everybody else. And as long as when we're playing against each other, okay, yes. But then once we get off the field, we're hugging each other, we're shaking each other's hands, and we have each other's back. But we really have each other's back when we're going against everybody outside of Lexington.
That's true.
And so that's the culture that I really want to build up here in Lexington with our sports programs.
And that's good, Coach Terry Bryant, because that's to my mind, plan and my son plan, that's an SEC mindset. Mm-hmm. Because if you do your thing and you're doing it, I'm PLD. I mean, I'm like my boy. I'm riding. From big things. I'm riding. I'm using this.
We winning, we riding.
Yeah,
I'm riding.
Love them guys. Yeah.
But my thing is about this. I've been very fortunate to become close friends with a lot of these head coaches, and you want them all to be successful. When you play each other, I'm just here. And I clap both ways. I was watching a game this past year, and I kept clapping, and a parent walked up to me that I knew, and she said, "Who are you for?" Yeah. Because you keep clapping for everybody. I'm clapping for everybody's success. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Yeah. And
so I got just two things before you go, and then I'm gonna let you go. The first thing is I want to shout you out because I think you're the only coach that has started a girls flag club.
She gonna shout that out.
So I'm definitely shouting you out for that, and I am so excited about that because I'm trying to spearhead girls flag in the state of Kentucky, and so thank you so much for being on the forefront of that. Yeah. So the next thing I want to do is I want to shout out your wife and her recovery room. Can you tell us more real quick about the recovery room and what that means? Because I don't think we're utilizing that enough as sports parents.
Right. And that's a really key thing here. And, there's a reason why Tom Brady, LeBron James, all those guys spend millions of dollars in recovery because their paychecks, their livelihoods depend on being great the next day. And, a lot of people misinterpret recovery as being, I'm injured. I need to recover. And our mission is to keep people well and recover daily so that because your gains are only as strong as your recovery. Okay. So that's the key mindset that I try to teach my players. And that starts with rest and sleep. If you're not rested and sleep, you can't be recovered. Your body doesn't heal. You're going to get injured. You're going to have things that happen to your body because you didn't get rest. Get off the phone, get off your PlayStation or Xbox. We start practice on July 10th at 6:30 a.m. in the morning. You can't come in without having to sleep.
Yes.
So the biggest thing is rest. And then we have tools to help your body reduce inflammation and recover. So we have, ice baths that you can, sit in. They're huge tubs. We have infrared sauna. We have all the compression garments that from Normatec that are designed to increase blood flow and oxygenate your blood and really kind of get, fresh, your muscles fresh. We have a pulse electromagnetic field therapy, which is they use on horses, to get their cells and the mitochondria in their cells powered up to 500%, so that those things can go to work. I was there today. I tried to do a running regimen the other day and pulled a calf muscle. Too old. And so I had to go in there and do some PEMF last couple of days. I feel great now. So we also have IV vitamin therapy. So, hydration is big. So when you get dehydrated or you just need to get that extra boost, we can hydrate athletes. And, we have the number 1, 2 tennis players in the state come in to use our facility. We have volleyball teams. We have girls basketball. When Sweet 16 comes, they all come in and they all get ready for the next day after day one. We open the facility to groups, and groups come in and can have their teams go through the recovery. We have a recovery wellness plan for them that day. And in about 2 hours, we can really get them ready to go for the next thing. We have Cutter Bowley and Macklin came in the other day from UK using our stuff. And then all the, LSC soccer, they don't have those types of things at LSC. So a lot of those players come over and recover with us as well. So we have high school kids, a lot of, some Douglas kids, my kids, just, Woodford kids, LCA, Catholic, anybody that's serious about performance. We always talk about the process and all that, but if at the end of the day, you want to perform, right? You need to perform. And we help you get back in the game. We help, my wife is a nurse practitioner. So she had a vision for that. And we're not only for athletes, we have our clientele or athletes all the way to 80-year-old, active people that just want to be able to walk the next day. And so all our wellness services are for everyone to be as healthy and well as possible, because your body is a miraculous thing and can heal itself pretty well.
Wow.
Well,
thank you,
I
Coach.
definitely wanted to make sure. And what I may do is to invite her out and give her own full show, so that we can go in a little bit more in depth with that, because I'm a fan of you both. I love what you're doing over there. Of course, I'm definitely riding with you because you done spearheaded the girls flag football over there in the city, and and I'm gonna get all the rest of the coaches on board. But you trust me on that. Everybody's gonna be on board here pretty soon. But Coach, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you, and good luck this season.
Love it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. See you.
See you, Coach. Wow. That was good. That's some good stuff.
That's some good stuff.
And what I liked what he said, if people didn't understand and didn't really process it, I'm not talking down to nobody.
Yeah.
But what I love is he was mentioning other areas. He wasn't keeping it
just on his kids. Yeah.
I mean, and the wife is spurred, make sure that everything's rolling. And that's what it's all about. The babies.
It's all about the babies.
And
so we left I saved the best for last.
It's not the best.
Would I be wrong for saying that? Would I be wrong? Because he's a Cowboys fan.
Because he's a Cowboys fan.
How about them Cowboys?
I know that's why she said the best. Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys? Yes.
I knew that was coming. I knew she had to bring you in with some flashes and some stars.
How about them Cowboys?
Come on now. That's the first thing I kept thinking about. That's the first thing I'm going to say.
Hey.
Just so you know.
Say it ain't so. Hey, it's like the best one. This is the head football coach in Lafayette, John Lawson, here in Lexington, Kentucky. But the thing is, that's why she put you last, because she was going to blame the Cowboys. And then she threw in the best and I was like, only because he's a Cowboy fan. I've been working on how many years I've been working on y'all two about that, man?
Keep working.
Well, Coach, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it. You and I go way, way back.
Yes, sir. We do.
We go way back where I first started coaching, and at that time you wasn't coaching. You was in school playing for the University of Kentucky.
Yes, sir.
And doing your thing. And you and I are very close friends and very close friends. I'm excited to find out what's going on. So the wife's going to ask you a first question, and I'm going to ask you question. Okay. All right?
Sounds good. Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
First of all, thanks for coming on. It's been a tough couple of years when you taking over.
Yes,
so are you finally starting to breathe? How's it coming along for you?
Okay, before you answer that, last year, I used the term with Coach Hawks. You kicking that door.
You're kicking the door in.
You did a very good job last year, and only a little oops kept you from moving on to the second. It was the second or third round.
It'd been second round. It would have been the second round.
It'd been the second round, and that hadn't happened in a while. So, following up on her question and my comment on the end, how's it going?
Well, I'm always excited. Even when I took over 3 years ago, she made the comment, "Are you finally be able to breathe?" Because of my thought process and what I love to do with this sport, I've been able to breathe since day one.
Since day one. Okay, good.
Because, you know, like I don't put that type of stress on myself about winning and losing. So
good.
as long as I am building the foundation for these young men that serves the purpose that I'm trying to teach, then I'm very happy with us moving forward. The bonus is, as they get this foundation down, we're winning games. So, you know, we just add that to it, because if I really took that first year and the beatings that we took, like, I don't know if I took it personally, if my pride was connected to it, I still wouldn't be coaching today. So I'm glad that I've disconnected myself from that portion of it and so much of the culture behind it. I just need to make sure that my young men understand how to be great young men, understanding integrity, how to be accountable, you know, how to be disciplined and consistent. Those are the first 5, 6 things I say to my kids every day. Then we talk about football. And as long as I am showing that and I'm mentoring that, and the coaches that surround me are mentoring that same example, all the other things come into play. So then that just makes the job that much funner when they really start to buy into that.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess my question to follow up on your statement there, okay, and I go back to a word I just used toward you and I. We go way back. You are very competitive. So how did you disconnect? Is that a fair question?
It's fair.
So people out there in the mental health industry is listening to your answer. I'm just letting you know, because I mean, people see you. You are, you know, you some Billy D. Williams, Denzel Washington chilled all the time, you know, with a nice smile on your face. So how did you separate that? Is that fair enough question?
That's a very interesting question, and nobody's ever asked me that before. But, you know, for me, as long as I understand where I am in life and what my purpose is, then it's easier for me to pull off the Denzel, and I can just relax and have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, like I said, as long as I stay, you know, I'm not attached to my pride, and I'm just going, this is my purpose of life, to lead these young men in the right way. You know, we don't argue calls on my sideline. If they do, I fuss at them instead of anybody else. So, like, as long as I'm doing the things that's fulfilling my purpose, you know, I can smile all day, you know, and I know God's got my back to do that whole process on top of all of that. It just makes me feel good about what I'm doing, because I don't want to just affect these young men on the football field. So, you know, what I do in the building, when I connect with all the other kids in the building instead of just my football players, I just want to keep planting seeds. And as long as I'm doing that, I'm a happy guy.
All right.
Yeah, because you're also the AD.
I am an assistant AD in the school as well. My current position in the school is I'm the hallway mentor, is what they call me. I could be a mentor, I could be a bouncer, I could be a disciplinarian. Whatever falls on my plate with any kid in that building. You know, with 2,500 kids, being the largest student body in the state of Kentucky, I get to touch a lot of lives. And you know, it fulfills me in so many ways when I get to do that. And like I said, it's not just football. I'm just as cool with the band kids as I am with my football players. And it's just a great experience to be a part of.
Well, we're glad that you're there. I mean, people just don't understand what the impact that you have as a coach. And I just don't think we get enough credit. I think even Coach Johnson made the comment that, you know, all the coaches in our district probably don't get enough credit for the impact that they've done and as great of a job that they've done without, especially even if you don't look at the wins and losses. What y'all have done over the years has been absolutely tremendous. And Lafayette has has a history of excellence there. And so there's no doubt in my mind that, you know, everything's always a cycle. You know, your ups and downs. There's always somebody that, you know, somebody's up this year and then somebody's down the next year. You know, it's never been a time where I think everybody's been up on the level. So, but it always comes back full circle every time. And so we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to that. Who you got? I'm gonna tell you right now, you got one of my favorite babies, Sam's.
Who's this?
Sam's. Is it Mike Samms? He came from Crawford. He's one of your linemen. What's his name?
Michael Miles.
Miles.
Yeah.
Miles.
Michael Miles. Yes.
Michael Miles.
Yes. Great young man.
How has he developed?
Now we're asking on a personal.
That's personal.
If you want to text me, because do I need to intervene? Because he's one of our favorites.
Okay.
He's like one of my favorite babies.
We love the babies.
Okay.
Miles.
Look, I was very fortunate to land him. Okay. You know, coming from Crawford, automatically he's going to that other side, that school outside of town. Douglas, sorry, my bad. And
What'd
so
you
I'm
say?
thinking
That other side.
I was trying to think of the name. I'm like, I know he's on that side of town where Crawford is what I was trying to say. But because he's right around the corner. So I just knew he was going there. But when he showed up, I was like, it's a nice sized kid.
Yeah.
Like, and he's pretty laid back and humble. And you know, we had that first year as a freshman, he came in. I'm like,
when we got him as an 8th grader, that was his first year.
Really?
Yes.
So he was a baby when you got him as a freshman.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was not just physically but mentally understanding the game. And the thing about it, remember, I gave him a hug, and because we had a baseball game and I was doing something, and I came on the field, and I was supposed to be in the dugout, but I saw him and I was like, no, I got to come over there.
Yeah. I remember that. I do remember that. Yeah.
So he's doing his thing, right? Everything. I mean, I'm just saying, does Uncle Coach need to call?
No, man, I'm telling you, I can give you some truth on this one, okay? Like I said, he came in his freshman year. He was a little raw, but the size.
He didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, but he's picked up. He's progressed within that year, in 2 years now, to a level of when he started playing last spring with me, you know, the way his technique with his hands and his feet, I'm like, you're going to be our next D1 guy that comes out of here. Like, I don't have a lot of dudes like that, but he's going to be one of them. And I could just tell right away that he has that type of drive, and he really wanted it. And he has some bumps in the roads as far as staying on course, but all kids do. But on that football field, he's determined to be that guy. And so, you know, just speaking on him and a couple of the other young guys I have, you know, we're one of those teams that you will see differently this year because we have young talent, as we have the last 3 years, are coming up and really filling some gaps for us. And he's just one of those guys that are going to really help us on both sides of the ball.
Well, my next question for you, Coach Lawson, is, you know, we've asked the question to the other two coaches, and Coach Hawks at Tates Creek and Coach Johnson at Paul Lawrence Dunbar. Mm-hmm. Who is your coach, especially Coach Johnson, who gave a story on Ty, who was a leader? Mm-hmm. A situation happened, I don't know if he was on yet when Coach Johnson said it, and Ty put everybody in checkmate. We don't do that. And then he said after that, that's when he said the wheels changed. Then
he said it got real.
And Frederick Douglass did their thing. Who is your guy? Who's your star? Who's the guy that you're expecting them, you know, to lead? I mean, you got to have leaders. I mean, coaches can coach, but you got to have leaders on the field, not just by running their mouth, but by performing and leading by mouth. Please.
So that's an excellent question. You know, since day one that I've been there, I've been trying to build a culture of a player-led team. We both know how important that aspect of it is. I can do monkey flips, but if you guys ain't accountable for what you're doing, it really doesn't matter how much I yell or motivate or whatever. And so I've had for the last couple of years what I call a leadership committee. If you're a guy that handles your business in the classroom, handle your business in the hallways, handle your business on the football field, and I'm not saying performance-wise always, just attitude and effort, just general stuff, you get promoted to the leadership committee, which on that leadership committee, sometimes they get extra stuff that other teammates don't get, and sometimes they may have to get extra duties because you're leaders. I expect you to show that in practice, in the classroom, what have you. So every year I've had a group of 10 to 15, and I tell them all year, every year, that I want the whole team to be on the leadership committee. That's all. The whole team needs. So if we could all get there, then we're just and we just having a good time. But to answer your question, you know, every year has been different for me. You know, we had a quarterback come in last year, and Rance Payton had played in middle school and then play again to the end of his junior year, going to senior year. But that guy made a difference in how he led our offense. And so not only was he a huge competitor, but you know, he would lead them down the field. He's going to make sure they're going to stay in check, get them in the right position. You need that type of guy. So going into this year, even though we still have some young dudes, Jackson Grants is a guy that he's what we call our athlete. He's a Superman. He kicks for us, kickoff. He does field goals. He returns. He plays slide. He plays safety. And he's at the highest level all the time. Like this guy never goes under 110 with anything that he does. And he's not necessarily a vocal leader. He's a quiet guy. He just performs. And people migrate to him. When they see how hard he works, they just follow. And as you get more and more of these guys that just develop that mentality that I'm just going to do whatever it takes, we've experienced our best spring football in 4 years because we didn't have to coach. We just had to make sure we were organized. The kids rest. And I love saying that because it gives me a calmness about where I'm going with this program and what things look like next year. Win, lose, or draw, I know we're going in the right direction. And so, we have that guy and a few other guys that, potentially going to be, but I'm going to stand a lot on him for right now as far as my potential best leader. And I'm telling you, I got a handful of guys that are going to do the same thing. They're just going to help us move forward.
Okay. What's the offense? What's the lines look like? What's the offense and D line look like?
So again, some of these guys like Mike been playing since they was freshmen. So what we're going to get this year is a more seasoned offensive and defensive lineman crew. And so, now that we've gotten some experience, close games, we won more games last year, not only is the confidence there, but the understanding of the expectations, one, that I set from top down, and two, what our coordinators are expecting. So now that we have guys that are football players, in that first year, don't get me wrong, I love my dudes.
Right. You just have some
a lot of guys that just love football. But it's different. You love football and you have football players that love football. And so we gave it all with no matter who we had. But yeah, we're probably 2-3 deep on our O-line, D-line side of the ball. A couple guys will play both ways. Most of them I think we have all seniors coming back next year, except for next year, they're all going to be seniors except for maybe one guy.
Wow.
The starting line is coming back except for our center, is all I'm trying to say.
Right.
And so, yes, they've gone through the grind. They understand the process. And so with some guys, now that we have the attitude, some depth, and maybe we can play just on one side of the ball, I'm looking forward to great things for that offensive line leading us to where we need to be. Because this year I feel like we're more stacked with running backs than we have in a long time. So if nothing else, we're going to grind you out. And so that's what I'm expecting to see a lot of.
We're going to play some smash mouth.
Let's answer this and you go on defense, Coach. So who's your offensive coordinator? You didn't say his name.
Oh, I guess I didn't say his name. So Coach Bailey, which has been with me for the last 3 years, basically, he ran my defense last year. So my offense coordinator last year stepped down. So Coach Bailey took over the offense. He's done offense at different schools before already. He ran a defense last year. So he's going to spearhead our offense this year. He's also my assistant head coach. So you're going to see some twists, some different things that we did last year. And like I said, he's a very experienced coach. He does a lot of all-star coaching on the side. He brings a lot to the table for the team as far as knowledge of the game. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do on the offensive side of the ball as well, because he did really well on the defensive side of the ball last year.
All right. Well, and then the follow-up question is, I'm a defensive guy.
Absolutely. Me too.
Through and through. So who's your defense? Are you calling the plays on defense, or is your defensive coordinator? Your defensive coordinator is who again?
My defense coordinator is John Halleck.
Yes.
Mr. Coach Halleck. So, he coached with us a few years back, 17, 18 maybe, when Jalen was a junior senior. One heck of a coach. I mean, an outstanding man in Christ and just an outstanding man, period. And so the energy that he has brought to this team within the short period of time I've had him has been amazing. So he's going to lead our defense. We got a couple new coaches in, and the whole thing with the coaching thing has been like a roller coaster every year. Like you get some dudes, and my biggest thing the last couple years, not only did I want to keep my kids, I just wanted to keep the same coaching staff.
Yeah, that's been our problem.
Bless every year. That's like I've brought in some really, really good guys that have coached at some other places that are going to come and help us out. And the thing is, when your coaching staff and the chemistry meshes the way ours do, everything is still easier.
Everything's
so easy.
We respect each other. We honor each other's position and what we do. We talk about everything. I'm not the coach that is you going to do what I say. I'm a coach that say, hey, we're going to talk about this. We're going to figure this out together, and we're going to make sure this happens between all of us. And so I've established that type of culture even with my coaches, that I'm only here to take the blame when I need to and answer tough questions when I have to. You know what I'm saying? I do this, and y'all take care of everything else. I haven't coached in 3 years, Coach. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not my job anymore. My job is to define the culture and the temperature and the climate.
And let me come with you on that one, Coach. That was a good statement, because I heard somebody say this about a couple of years ago, and I heard parents yell, and I said, guys, I was fortunate to watch the greatest college coach of all time in my lifetime, and that's Nick Saban.
Okay.
Nick Saban stood in the middle of the field. He just stood there, and he would go, and he'd turn around. Now, he went over to the DBs like I would do, because I'm a DB. And he would get on the DBs. He would go say something to a DB. The camera would show him teaching DBs, but the camera didn't show the other 2 hours. The other 2 hours, he was in the middle of the field. Yes. And so it sounds like the same thing that we've heard. It's been a blessing in Fayette County, and Coach Johnson hit to that. Coach Bryant, Coach Bryant.
You got some good coaches in the
You got some good coaches where you don't have to do this all the time, because that's what makes your program roll. And I've been at Crawford. Our record is pretty good. We ain't won a title yet, but I'm not going to talk about this last thing. You know, it's still in my crawl.
Yes,
all right.
Sir. Yes, sir.
We right here, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He was in. Well, okay.
He was in.
No, he was not in. All right. I won't put that out there. But my point is, the greatest thing that I've been very fortunate, and now I'm looking for another coach, because one of our coaches, Davenport, who left, he got a promotion in Ohio. So he went back home and took his son from Frederick Douglass, because he's going back to Ohio and hang out with the Buckeyes. And with that said, I'm looking. I've got a few people. I'm looking for people that want to come to Crawford. But that's been my point is, that's been very fortunate, having Miss Coach Bryant, having Black, having Perkins, having different coaches, and Coach White, that I didn't have to worry about a lot of stuff. And so it sounds like what you're saying, that you ain't got to worry about, because they got your back and they're not trying to stab you in the back. Is that correct to say?
100%, Coach. And one of the first things I say in my meeting every year is, it's my job to just give you an opportunity to be a coach. It's not my job to be a dictator and take all that from you. You're here to learn, just like I am. And so if somebody hates your call on Friday night, it's my job to absorb that for you. But you keep what you're doing, because you have to know that I trust you. Not that they trust you, that I trust you. So they going to give it to me. I'm going to take it, but you still need to do what you need to do. And I really set the tone with that, because I believe in that so much. And, every year when my coach is coming in, I don't know how many other coaches do this, but I do a working interview. Before I hire anybody, I I ask them to come in for a week and just go hang around the kids. Because if you are that connected to football and those kids, you won't even know I exist. Like, you're going to be doing your thing. And I'm going to learn a lot about you when you do that. And that's helped me get the coaches that I wanted to get in. And just to kind of spearhead what Coach Johnson was saying a minute ago, was that, like, we have amazing coaches in this district.
The district, yes.
I mean, it's amazing.
Every team.
I mean, come on. Like, we got dudes that know football and know how to lead young men, and we're all doing our best with what we have. And so, my biggest thing is whoever's there, whoever plays for me, I'm gonna coach those dudes. That's my crew. If somebody leaves, so be it. I'm coaching my dudes because this is my purpose, this is my understanding, and just so much respect for everybody in the city and what we as coaches have to endure with the new kids, the instant gratification kids. Like, if I don't today, I'm gonna be mad. Well, okay. You're gonna be mad, but you still gonna work. And so you have to learn how to get past that, because that's our biggest dilemma, Coach. When we played, we just worked hard all the time. It didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
We did what we needed to do. If we were second string, you know what? We taking your job. I didn't cry to nobody about why I didn't have that job. I took your job. That's what we did back in the day. And it's
the sense of entitlement with this new generation of kids is very frustrating.
Yeah,
and it also gets me. It also. Yeah, I agree. We have somebody just said, man, that cowboy helmet behind you is just killing me. I mean, it's burning a hole. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Brown. You on the same page. No, but with that said, I'm just messing. But with that said, that's the most exciting. So, what big games are you looking to really show everything you put in when the season ended last year in the playoff game? What game you're saying, okay, if I lose this one, fine. If I win this one, that's the hump. Because when I was back in the day, you remember Paul Lawrence Dunbar back in the day, we lost a lot in the beginning. Mm-hmm. But when we beat Madison Central, when they were supposed to win the state, and we beat Madison Central, our whole program turned, and then we were the dogs. Like Coach Terry Bryant said, everybody in Fayette County has a moment. Mm-hmm. Everybody's had, since I've been here, everybody's had a moment. And when we beat Madison Central, I'm not putting you on the spot saying you're going to win. I just need you to say, you have circled a team in your mind or on your calendar that says, if we get this team, it's going to turn the corner. You ain't got to say the team if you don't, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I'm going to do it like this, because I typically do. It's going to be our first game. Like, to me, the most important thing is you win that first game. So last year when we won that first game, like, that was a huge hump for us going into that season. Mm-hmm. Then everything else started to come together. And I'm going to take the same approach this year. We win that first game. We win the bowl game. I think we're playing Collins or whatever. They got a great quarterback out there. One of my ex-coaches are out there. Should be a great competition. We win that game. That sets the tone for the rest of the games. So absolutely. I'm going to go with that as far as my purpose game, and like what's going to help keep us rolling is to get that first one in, or at least. And I'm going to say this in a manner that, out of respect for the other team, we have to at least be competitive. Like, we have to pound with them like we did every team last year. We played, except for one. We were in every game, even to the last game against GRC. But yeah, we win that game. It's going to help us keep it rolling. Seriously.
That's good stuff. I love it. So when are y'all getting, since you assist the AD over there, what y'all doing over there for Girls Flag?
Well, I heard you talk about that, and I followed you on a couple things with your posts and Instagram, whatever all that stuff is. I'm not good at that. Forgive me if I don't know all terminology.
Okay. No, that's okay. He's not either. It's okay.
I ask 1,000 questions a day. So where do I go? Like, what do I do? Like, I was so confused. But I'm glad you touched on that, because as you guys were talking about it, I love the idea of promoting that. I do have a coach on my team now that loves flag football. He has a football team that went to the Nationals in Ohio, and that's his thing. And so to use his platform and his knowledge to also develop that, are we playing these games at our local high school, or how's that working? Because I could love to be a part of it. I just need to know more about it.
Right. So I think what Coach Johnson did is he created like a club program for girls, because girls can now get scholarships.
Okay.
Yeah.
like full rides.
Full ride.
Love hearing that. Okay.
Right. So I did my first camp in March, and we're doing it again in next March at Kentucky State, and we'll have college coaches coming back again. And so now to me now it's another avenue for young ladies to be able to go to the next level. They might not be good enough for maybe basketball skill for basketball, or might not be fast enough for track, or they might be just on the cusp, or maybe some of the other sports, but there might be room for them to play flag. Well, I'm just saying it's just another avenue.
Yeah, my comment on that is I always feel that's passionate. Okay, I don't know how it is to have a daughter, and you have a daughter. Okay, and your mind is different too. Yes, I knew that. Okay, so my point is, my passion came with my, great niece who goes to Lafayette, Jay Brown. Right. Okay, when I watch her, she's like my daughter. So that makes me more inclined to say we got to get this for the young ladies.
Sure.
Okay? And people like my wife understood when I wasn't as passionate. She realized there was no real little girl in my life, because when I came in her daughter's life, my stepdaughter, she
was like 16.
She was like going to be a junior. Now she ain't talking to nobody. You know that.
Yes, sir.
That's what I said. And then my great niece didn't live here. Then she came to Lexington, but then now I'm coaching. And then as she's grown up and I see her, I go, oh my gosh. And because I can imagine her playing flag football. Getting an opportunity. She's very athletic. She can run. She's a long way. I mean, so now that got me excited. But the wife understood a lot of people are not where she's at.
And I get that, right? All I'm doing is just planting the seed. So and I hope you didn't take it like I'm putting pressure on anyway. It's not that. I just want to bring up the conversation.
Hold on,
and
man,
have you all.
Hold on, man. He's a Cowboy fan. He's used to pressure.
See, you're so wrong. You are so wrong. Can you mute him for a minute?
Mr. Brown, y'all not getting ready to have me cussing him out on national TV.
I'm sorry.
This is what I deal with all the time.
I'm sorry. All right, here we go. Take two. Go.
Okay. Anyway, I just want to have the conversation, about bringing up flag. I have talked to KSAA about it, and I know they have brought it up. It is on the table for them to talk about it. And that's all I wanted, was just a conversation. Cornell Burbridge just started, I think Parks and Rec has a flag, a league going on right now. I tried to put together a girls team to put in there, but they're, right now they don't know, because we haven't had it, and girls haven't had the opportunities that they have now that they have the opportunities. I mean, to me, it's up there with NIL. We didn't have NIL. Now you're getting paid, but now you got little girls and go get a full ride scholarship to play football. Come on now. I love it.
But let me say this. I mean, my mindset is always to help all students. And as much as I love my football program, I'm open to all areas. Like even at our school,
yes.
I've gotten more girls in the weight room because it's important. They need to work out. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I think it's a great opportunity to connect in that way too. So I'm ready to open any doors for any student. And if there's something we can do at Lafayette to help that grow, I got your back, girl. And I got a coach that would probably help me do it 100% because he is all in with flag.
Good. Well, the only thing I just want to be careful about is I don't want to step on any toes, because I don't want to pull from the back. I love me some Allison. I don't want to take away from any girls from basketball, or I don't want to take anyone from volleyball or track or anything like that. But those girls that maybe don't have a fit on those particular teams may be interested in flag. So maybe, if we can get all the ADs in the district to maybe look at starting a club program, so that we can kind of gauge what the interest would be. And then maybe we can kind of move on from there.
Go, just like when they started lacrosse, it depends on when they play. Because like most males, and this, coach, when a college coach comes to your campus, he's going to ask, we know the question, is he coachable?
Mm-hmm.
They already know his grades because he filled out his clearinghouse.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to ask that. And most of them don't ask to me anymore. Back in the day, they did. They already know. And then the next one is do they play multiple sports?
Mm-hmm.
And so the boys get that question. So what we want is the ladies to get that question. Does she play multiple sports? Because most ladies only play one sport.
Right.
She played multiple sports, because if she plays multiple sports, that makes her pretty good, because she's keeping her academics up, her behavior is good. Yep. And what's the term that we say way back in the day, that that's not a coach killer? And people don't know what a coach killer is. That is bringing a young person on campus and they got all these negatives, and then they fall out, and then the head coach fires that recruiting coach.
When is their season?
No, there's not one, right?
Even with the club, like if they did club, when would that season be?
I think they're doing it, and I think he said they were doing theirs in the spring.
Okay, that makes sense then. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think they're doing it in the spring, but that's still kind of, you still got track, and then and boys and lacrosse, right?
No, I think the girls is first, right?
Yeah, but it still carries over to almost in the season. But yeah, so.
I mean, that's the only thing is I want it, but at the same time, we're already having a hard time kind of filling some of these other girl programs, and I want to make sure that we're not pulling from them before we kind of start implementing that, because I don't want nobody. I'm not trying to step on nobody's toes as far as taking away athletes from other sports.
And you and I both know I've had players that played football and they weren't football players. They were just playing. Then they went to track and got a little money to go off to college. I mean, to me, it boils down not taking away your numbers, but making sure that young person has an opportunity to go off to college and have that dream. And then that dream is, and you can call it whatever you want to. Oh, it's not a scholarship, but if your parents ain't got to pay it back, that's a scholarship. I don't care what you call it.
And that's all I'm saying. It's just another opportunity. We had, when at the camp, we had 4 college coaches came in. One coach had 15 slots that he needed to fill because he was a brand new program. And right now there's brand new programs that are starting, like this season. I think Lindsey Wilson is starting. And then I think in 2 seasons, Asbury, I think, is starting a girls flag. And so those are going to be opportunities. And of course, I want the local my girls out of Lexington to be the first ones to get recruited and to be able to get into those opportunities. So that's all I'm doing. And all I'm doing is just getting the conversation started, and just something to think about, as you guys are doing your day to day, and you're looking at things and you're looking at other ways to maybe just enhance some of the activities around Lafayette and to add to you. Because I'm a proponent of athletics drives academics. And I think that there's a lot of administrators that, if they aren't athletes, don't really understand that. And if they were to actually learn that whole concept, they could see the test scores and a lot of that stuff go up in the schools that they want, if they would just put a little bit more emphasis on extracurricular activities, even if it's not the varsity and JV, even club sports and stuff like that, and can still make a big difference in academics, because you still have to have your grades in order to be able to do all those things.
So no, I think there's a great opportunity, and one thing that as a coach that I love to do, I tell all my kids all the time: give yourself 2 opportunities to go to college. Like, I want my kids to wrestle, I want my kids to play baseball, I want my kids to run track. Sometimes I'm pulling kids from other sports going, but I play this, but I play this. You can also play this. I've had a couple of guys over the last couple of years that literally played basketball. Then they played football 1 year. They got a scholarship.
Yeah.
Hey, you get my point now? Like, it's very important. Play 2 sports and it's okay. But what if I get hurt? You can get hurt playing any sport. Okay. Regardless of what you say. So I 100% know what you're saying there. And I agree. And I think we should move forward with it in some capacity.
Yeah.
Well, on Lafayette, let's go back to your school, and we'll wind this up. And again, thank you for coming on. This is people that just came on. This is the head coach of Lafayette High School, John Lawson, and he's going into your what year?
4th, sir.
Fourth year. Fantastic season last year, and I'm not saying that based on wins and losses, just the way your team played. And so, what is the biggest thing that you've already hit it a little bit. If there's something else you wanted to say about your team this coming season.
I think the biggest thing I want to say about my team is that they're a team. And when I can speak on my team as a team, it makes me feel a whole lot better about what I'm doing. I did an interview the other day with one of the local people here in town. Who's your guy? Who's your guy? I got a team. Like, seriously, I got a bunch of guys that are willing to do whatever it takes in the right way, in the right manner, under the right circumstances to be successful. And so what you're going to continue to see out of Lafayette's program is a bunch of guys that love each other. They're going to work hard for each other. We're going to depend on each other, and we're going to win or lose with each other. And it's going to be okay no matter what happens. And so when you can learn how to lose just as well as you can learn how to win, you're doing all right in your program. And I feel like we're going in that direction for sure.
I just think Coach Johnson definitely tipped on. I can't emphasize enough that we have some great athletic programs here in Fayette County. We have great coaches. We have some great kids. I mean, even when we go to track, we're always top 10 in track. And to me, track is where you really, really kind of get a gauge of the athleticism that your schools have. And then just being able to put them together with some of the other sports, like you said, can make a difference on the team. I think, I got to shout this one out. My bad. Mr. Brown just reminded me, 2 Lafayette greats are Layshoff athletes, Dirk Minifield and Tony Wilson. Absolutely. Shout out Lafayette. And not only that, George Adams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Came out of Lafayette as well too.
Yeah,
and
Bowling Green beat them.
And our co-founder, Jennifer Jones, is a Lafayette grad, and also our senator. She came out first year. She's out of Lafayette as well too.
Okay,
good stuff. Love Lafayette.
We're gonna let you go. What high school did you go to, and where you?
I mean, I've gone to 2 different high schools. My dad did a lot of moving back in the day. He worked for IBM. It's like being in the military back then. So I started my high school career in the Memphis Kirby High School in Memphis, Tennessee. I played through my junior year. Then IBM transferred us to Blue Springs, Missouri, which I finished my senior year there in Blue Springs, Missouri. And it was great opportunities both ways. It was just rough to leave 3 years of playing with your boys and then go to the school and try to fit in. But, I did what it took to be able to start and play, even coming in fresh out of from another school, and had a lot of great opportunities. Went to Missouri Western State College for a year, and then I went to UK.
Okay. All right.
And so what made you stay in Lexington?
When wife and kids, you kind of get here, you get grounded, and then you meet somebody, and end up getting married, and kids, and I'm like, well, hey, we home. And so we just stayed, and I've been here now longer than I've ever lived any other place in my life, but it's been good to me.
I'm with you on that.
Gotcha. Well, good.
Great
That's
place.
good stuff. Well, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for definitely coming on and making this.
It's been great. And again, we're very fortunate. We had Coach Hawks of Taste Creek High School, Coach Johnson of Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School, and then we finish up with, not last but not least, definitely one of my boys.
How about them Cowboys?
John Lawson at Lafayette High School. Wishing all 3 programs success and blessings, and I mean that a lot. And you know that. You're my dog.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to who's going to be our new athletic director, so we could sit down and have some type of a round table. I've been telling everybody that I have a whole list of things that I want to talk to that person about for whenever they,
Sure.
We need whoever it is needs to create like a panel, like a sports panel. They can't do it by themselves.
It's hard.
What do you call it? You call it I don't know what it is, a board or some type of an athletic board.
Something like that.
For athletics where they're not the ones that's just making all of the.
Well, it's not a point of that person not making decisions,
but just being able to
going back being, like Coach Lawson said, going back being a head coach. He's thinking something, and all of a sudden his coordinator walks up to him because he's defensive. He's like me. He's defensive.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden the coordinator says something, he'll go, oh, I didn't think about that. Because nobody can think about everything. I mean, because if I'm correct, and we three will agree, there's only one person that walked on water. And
Yes, sir. Just one.
Just one. Nobody else. The other person they tried, he turned and looked back. Didn't have faith in our God. So with that said,
matter of fact, I'll use what you use. They need to come up with a leadership committee.
There you go. Absolutely.
And now you don't call it a board.
Now you don't call it a board, but an athletic leadership committee, the Fayette County Athletic Leadership Committee.
There you go. Let's go.
Well, thank you, Coach, for coming on.
Thank you, Coach, for coming on. We appreciate you.
And I appreciate you guys as well. Much love. Till next time.
Absolutely. Hey, big hugs to Miles. Let him know his auntie gave him mad love.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Deuces.
Bye.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Hey, look at your phone.
Probably said something about the Cowboys.
Ain't no telling. It was just a nice thing in 5 minutes. All right.
Bet. Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Wow. How fortunate.
How fortunate was that to have 3 of our great coaches on tonight?
Yes. And we're not perpetrating. And like I said, it's Hawks and I communicate every day. We work in the same building. Lawson and I go back. Coach Johnson was 100% first class when Crawford came over there.
Yes.
I knew of him. He probably knew of me, but he went out of his way to come and make sure we had everything. I mean, a lot of coaches don't do that because they put themselves on a pedestal. We go to certain fields here in Lexington. They don't come and ask us, do we need anything? And he did that. I will never forget that. We pull up and we're trying to get in and he didn't go, oh, somebody needs to go do this. He made sure he came down there. So you can't help but befriend him in his program and everything he stands for. That was his character. That shows his character. Because, a person's character is when nobody's watching. Mm-hmm. And he came down and did that. So again, I say it again, then I walk away. She will finish. Mm-mm. I will say again, thank you.
Why would you walk away while I'm by myself?
Coach Hawks. Thank you, Coach Johnson, and thank you, Coach Lawson. All right. Coach B, I'm out and I walk away.
So, Mr. Brown, you're right. Dallas Owens is the Layshoff hopeful out of Lafayette to be nominated this year. I definitely hope his nomination comes through. Yeah. And I missed this question right here, Mr. Brown. Are administrators invested in the new challenges in sports in this new age of sports that features kids that are different?
Well, to me,
this is what I'm going to say.
It's hard for me to answer that because it's 2 doors you go in. Every door goes in is about winning. Let's not get it twisted. We live in the United States, and that's a fact. And sometimes we don't look at what you just asked until somebody brings it to your attention. You're not trying not to, from my opinion. You're just not thinking of that until somebody goes, wow. It's the same thing I just said with Coach Lawson. Exact same thing. I'm not thinking about it until somebody brings it up, and then people get mad because you're not thinking about it. I can't think about something that is not something I would think about.
Right.
I'm just, that's
or it's not a part of your circle or your.
Well, we talked about today with a situation, and I said this person, he wasn't thinking about that.
Right.
Remember?
Yes.
We talked about that,
and they weren't thinking about it. It wasn't a priority in their in their psyche. Yeah.
It wasn't that they was pushing it back or wasn't. They just wasn't thinking about it. That's an excellent question, Mr. Brown.
Great question.
Usual. Great question.
Great question.
She'll wind it up, go over some stuff, and then I'm out. And I always thank you for allowing me to come on your program. All right. And again, Lawson, get a new team.
How about them Cowboys? Oh, Mr. Brown, who's did any of our Kentucky players go on the draft? Hey, can you look up the draft real quick? I think this is the first year where I wasn't paying attention to the draft because there wasn't any Kentucky players that were featured in the top 5. Normally we got one at least going in the top 5 minimum. And so I know there was a Texas kid went top 10, and after that I wasn't paying attention. Anyway, But thank you, Mr. Brown. I appreciate you being on. Stacy. Ooh, Stacy, I can't wait. Let me tell y'all something about. There's a Stacy Ferguson was on here, and she's one of the admins for this group that I'm in with women that love Black women that love football, right? And so we have a nationals coming up, and I'm going to be heading my first women's clinic there, and I can't absolutely wait. And then we're going to the Hall of Fame on that weekend, and too bad the tickets are already sold out. Otherwise, I would invite y'all, but it's already sold out. And then I want to talk about. I want to shout out. Okay, I want to shout out our sponsor, the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame, for sponsoring Hits and Heels every weekend. We have our gala coming up on September the 20th. You should be able to go and get your tickets, go order your outfits and all that type of stuff, because it's going to be a good time. We got some great people coming in. Rutgers had 2 picks to go in the top 4, which is the first for that school. Oh, that's good. That's good for Rutgers. I didn't even know they had anybody good for Rutgers. I don't remember seeing them even in the. Did they make the playoffs? I don't even remember seeing them in the playoffs. But yeah, so the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame, September the 20th is the gala. We just had our annual fundraiser, which was a 5K last weekend. It was a success. We had over 100 some people that showed up. It was hot, but it was a good old time. We appreciate the people that are donating. If you have someone that's interested in being nominated for the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame, you can go to the site as well, and you can nominate them up until October the 31st to be eligible for our 2026 class. So anything, if they get nominated after that, then they'll have to wait till the 2027 class in order to do that. But make sure when you do put them on there, Google is not your friend. A lot of people, Google doesn't have a lot of information on a lot of people. Make sure you're very detail oriented on that stuff. We can't just take your word for, because otherwise people will just be nominating people just to be nominating them, and then embellishing their accolades. So we have to be able to verify their accolades and what they've done and where they played and all that type of stuff in order for them to be eligible. We just ain't putting just anybody in the Hall of Fame. Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, I am out. We will we out, Stacy and Mr. Brown. We are gone. We are gone. Anybody else that comes in and watches the replay. Oh, here's the last thing too. So thank y'all for being on YouTube, because what Facebook is doing is Facebook is deleting the lives after 30 days. So normally I go live on Facebook, right? But after 30 days, they're deleting it so that they don't stay on there. So I'm asking everyone to please go over to the YouTube channel. Like, so today I actually posted the YouTube on my private page so that you guys can be able to watch it via YouTube as opposed to on Facebook, because for some reason they're deleting it. And Facebook is really tripping. They deleting people's groups and everything. They just tripping. So make sure that y'all are going over to YouTube and subscribing so that you could catch the live every week. And we will be back next week. Good night, and I love y'all. And yes, Mr. Brown, I am definitely hoping that I will be supporting Dr. Gerald Smith. I can't wait to start getting ready for that next year. So I'll definitely be pushing for him next year. All right. Well, I love y'all, and y'all have a good one.